Nemesis was formed in Denver, Colorado in 2004. It all started with Eric and I meeting in the Navy in Norfolk, Virginia in late 2000. We started in
a cover band while serving together on the East Coast, and eventually we found the time to write 3 original songs,
which we played a few times before I moved to San Diego to finish my last 2 years of active duty.
About the same time, I moved back to Colorado, so I hit up my childhood buddy, Jimbo.
About the idea of starting a band. I was in CU Boulder at the time, and I was pretty busy with school, but I'd always wanted to be in a band.
So Jimbo and I started writing songs shortly after that. We would write the songs and record them, put them on a disc, and then send them to Tony, who at that time was in the Gulf.
I would get a CD with the recorded tracks, and I would write vocals and melodies, and then
call us at odd hours of the night on satellite phone to share what he'd written.
After my service ended, I packed up everything, moved to Colorado, and
started singing and writing for us. 3 weeks after his arrival, we entered a competition for Battle of Bands.
Won $1,000 and a $300 bar tab, which we turned around and bought PBR for the entire crowd that night.
It was after winning that show that we decided to go for it and needed a second guitarist.
When Tony approached me and asked me to join the band, I was really excited because I had just left a band that had already played shows with them, and I thought that it would be a really good fit.
We knew Rick well enough to give him a shot on guitar. He came to a few rehearsals and shortly afterwards joined the ranks of Nemesis.
After adding Rick, our bass player quit, so I had known Andrew from a previous job and also knew that he played bass and he was really good.
Eric approached me 3 weeks before KBPI's Best Band in Denver competition, which was my very first show with the group, and I had to learn 4 songs in 3 weeks, and that show really
ended up being his audition. It proved to us that he had an ear for the music, his style and his personality fit, and above all, he had integrity.
And integrity within the band is really important to all of us. I think that's why we're able to get to the point we're at now. Hard work,
dedication,
and our love for music. The only thing we need is a music video.
We'd like to do a music video for One Fine Day.
One Fine Day is a song about world-shattering loss. There's a wave of confusion, anger, and grief when you lose someone unexpectedly.
Eric Radioshack Hartsfield is a very close friend of the band. He was at our very first show, early summer
2004, and he was solely responsible for all our live footage for years to come. In 2008, Radioshack attended one of our practices.
We were riding that day, and Radioshack was telling me about the car accident. His brother Garrett passing just days before.
In 2008, 2 days before Thanksgiving, I was out to dinner when I got a call from the hospital. And they told me that my brother, who had been my lifelong friend and moved everywhere with me as we grew up in a military family, was in critical condition down at the hospital. I immediately left from eating dinner and drove across town in a drive that should have taken at least half an hour. I made it in 15 minutes. When I arrived, I found my mom and we talked to one of the doctors and found out that they had really high hopes for my brother and that he might actually be able to walk again someday, but they weren't entirely certain. It turned out that he had internal bleeding. So as they were ushering us off to be able to see him in his room, they told us that we had to wait a bit longer because he was going to need surgery again. After 2 surgeries and about 30 units of blood, which is roughly the equivalent of 6 people's worth of blood, they informed us that they couldn't get the bleeding to stop and they couldn't afford to provide him with any more fluids because they might be short for other people if they came in and needed blood transfusions. It was a really tough decision that my parents had to make, but we had to let him go. I didn't sleep for probably 2 days after that, and then I found the time to go hang out with Tony and tell my story.
The story was so powerful to me that it inspired me to write the lyrics to the song that everyone knows as One Fine Day.
I've been hanging out with Nemesis forever, and we've been friends for a really long time. Them writing this song really helped me get through the months after my brother's death. Having it made into a music video would mean the world to me.
Choosing this song as our first music video really just made sense to all of us.
Most of the lyrics I write are internal and are about personal experiences that I've had.
This is the one song that's based on someone else's experience.
This song is a fan favorite. It's one of those songs that fans like to sing along to. It started out as a way to make a good friend smile during a time of tragedy. And that's why we're glad that EFillF Productions is creating this video for us, because they're going to turn it into a cinematic story.
I'm really excited to direct this video because of all the meaning behind it. And after working with great Denver bands such as Lost Point, Novus Folium, and Iconocost, I feel privileged and honored to work with another amazing band, Nemesis.
So on behalf of EFillF Productions, Eric Radioshack Hartsfield, and all the guys here, thank you for your donation to our cause.
Once we achieve our goal, we'll actually be donating a percentage of the funds to their House That Rock Built, which is a charity whose mission is to provide music education to kids through their after-school program.
Find us on Facebook or our website, nemesisband.com.
So please, share this with all your family and friends, and look for the upcoming music video for One Fine Day. Nemesis thanks you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
One fine day.